I sometimes wonder if I was designed to be working with this technology, honestly. Oh, now I need to straighten that up. But if you, I am hoping, I'm just going to write in here. Can you see me? Ah, good. Hi. So I wonder, let me Control V, in case the link is different. Okay, so I thought it was the same link, and I know that we're in huge energies for somebody who's technically, I'm actually not that useless technically, but I tell you what, I have lots of issues when it comes to this technology, and so maybe I am not quite as flash as I believe, but we keep on moving into more and more of the extraordinary, I want to say. So hello everyone who's here, and okay, so just seeing that there are other people, so click on the link. There are other people still in the other chat, which I thought looked the same. So I'm not sure. It looked the same to me, but maybe it isn't. Oh, okay, that's good. So Ciela, what do you know? What happened? Was the letters and numbers looked the same? So we'll just wait. There's still a few people who haven't swapped over. So hello Stacey, and hello Billy and Larissa. Hello Tina and Denise and Ciela. Oh, okay. All right, I will write that. Go back to my profile, right? Okay, Ciela, when you say back to my profile, what do you mean? Let me just see if I can find. Okay, go back to my page on YouTube. And click on the live. Is that it? So Charlotte and Sally are still trying to find their way. Hello, Lauren. Won't you have two different passports for your two separate accounts or passwords? No, I only have one account on YouTube. Let's see. Sorry, everyone. I closed a screen that I shouldn't have because I had a lot of things open. I've been doing a lot of different things today. Sally is here. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Sally. Sally, can you just go and help Charlotte to find her way? Is that possible? Oh, yeah, no, that's a really old YouTube account. No, Tina, you're here. You're fine. Charlotte's here. That's good. Okay. No, so I just, it would seem I ended up creating two links for the same event, all from the same channel, and just too too much multitasking for my brain today. All right. Yeah. Hi, Jules. Hi, Andrea. So yes, I apologize for the fact I haven't been here for a while. There's been lots of things happening in life, and um, like a plethora of things, really exciting things, interesting things, challenging things. And I knew that I needed to do this recalibration. So I know I haven't been on here for 10 days. I was surprised about that. But I had a fall, so that was one thing. I don't know whether I've spoken to you since then, but I had this really interesting fall where how I didn't break a bone is beyond me. And I was just moving across this car park, and I, as my son said, well, you should try looking where you're going, Mum. But I was moving through a car park, and I didn't see that there were wheel chocks on one end of the car park, and I whacked into it with my right foot, went tumbling in the air, thought I'll be fine, I can recover this. And no, I couldn't. So I landed hip, shoulder, cheek bone, and I lay there thinking, well, this might not be good. Oh, well, let's see. And okay, I could move things. So I could get up, and I stood up. I touched my cheek because I was sure that I would have had the giant hematoma on my cheek, if not a cracked cheekbone. And that all felt fine. And then this woman from the store um, next to where I was heading to the upstairs space up there, and she came out and said, was I all right? And I said, well, I think so. Um, I'm just pulling myself together here. And she gave me a hug, and she said, I'm always tripping over those. And I thought, well, there you go. Anyway, since then, I have figured out that really that was the beginning of a physical reset. So I believe that we are all going through a physical reset in some way. Now, it's happening on a lot of levels, and it's happening in a myriad of ways. And maybe each of us will have our own different experience. But I definitely sort of came to that conclusion. And then I booked myself a contact care. So this is really interesting in light of, what I want to talk to you briefly about in regard to the brain. So I booked a contact care session. So the guy who created the modality of contact care, he lives in my kind of home area, and my entire family has gone to him for various things. He created this modality from his other work, and he has done a lot of work with horses and animals, and putting them back together. So now he's trained a whole lot of people. So I found a contact care person, and essentially it undoes impact injury. So I knew that was the thing for me to do. And then I had this experience. So it was a bit freaky. So the following morning, I got out of bed, and my right leg and right foot wasn't connected to my brain. So I was trying to tell my foot because it didn't do the right thing. And so I'm consciously telling my foot, you need to touch the floor. And my foot was sort of hovering like people's limbs when they've had a stroke. So my whole foot was pointed downwards, and it was like it was suspended in the air. And so I'm in my head, I'm instructing my foot to touch the ground, and it wouldn't. So then I used my hand, and I'm pushing my thigh to make my leg straighten out so my toes touch the ground. And then my toes, and then I just kept pushing until my foot was flat on the ground. And then I did a little bit of this to come into balance, and then I walked, and then it seemed right. It didn't dysfunction after that, but it was a pretty interesting experience. And then I went to this guy who I've never met before, and I talked to him about what had happened. And anyway, he said, yes, your brain was totally disconnected from that leg. So yeah, so that's one thing that's happened. There's been interaction with interesting people, and I had a visit from I had a visit from this really lovely client, and I won't mention her name because I didn't check this, but she is a Canadian client of mine, and she booked an in-person session, and I'm thinking, oh, I better message her and say to her I'll resend her a Zoom link. And the same day she messaged me saying, that is not a mistake. I am coming. And so I hung out with her for a whole day and a bit, and it was, I tell you what, it is so incredible to meet people who are here online in the flesh, and it was just amazing. And then there's this whole, and I feel all emotional about it. There's so much going on, and I'm hoping that I'm not prattling, because I think I'm relatively coherent about it. But there's this whole sisterhood building, and that's really exciting. And there's this connecting up of soul groups and all the rest of it. And maybe you're having experiences of that as well. But we are really, well, in our physical body, I believe that there are several things that are happening. But one is we're having a brain upgrade. So we're having a brain readjustment. You will have heard me speak about that in the past, about this idea that we would have components and functions of our brain redesigned or reassigned. And so it's my read that our frontal lobe, where we hold a lot of short-term memory, is being reassigned for higher functionality. And I don't know what the higher functionality is yet, but I do know that you may be dealing with short-term memory loss. You may be right back into that time, and maybe I did anyway. When I was having an awakening, I would have this experience every now and again, like I was in my brain searching for a word, knowing that I knew the word, knowing that it was a simple concept or construct, and as though I'm searching in my brain, in my neural pathways. So I'm in this sort of pause while I'm looking for the word. And that is the kind of experience that you may be having, maybe at a slightly more complex level than that now. But yeah, this sort of this searching for the construct, searching for the terminology, searching for the connections. And I believe it's because that's what's in the frontal lobe is being rehoused into greater consciousness or into the cellular memory, and that is being used for higher, or being redesigned for higher functionality. So more neural pathways being built, more synapses being fired up. So that's one of the things that's going on. It's likely that you are feeling a lot of energy in the crown, in the skull, some pressure, some expansion, because there's a lot of codes coming in that relate to that as well. And then that can link in very strongly to the spine and the spinal fluids and the connection to the earth. So huge crystalline energies coming in for activations in our earth, in the center of the earth, and in us. There's always this micro and this macro, and this up leveling of skills. So the psychic abilities that you have are likely to be up leveling. So for me, sometimes at the moment, because my psychic vision, my clairvoyance is my strongest, it's like I can just kind of blink my eyes and I can be shown an image, and all I've done is have a moment of thought direction, and things come up. So you will likely have an upgrade in the psychic aspect, that is your strength. So a lot of people are having massive energetics in their ears, and I would be interested, if that's you, is clairaudience your psychic gift? But yeah, there's a lot going on in the brain and in the spine and the spinal fluid. So that's one aspect. And in the throat, because we are in this, you see, this word comes, and I know what this word is, and it's a rather beautiful word, but I haven't used it in a long, long time. I want to say the edification. The throat is in the edification of your internal truth. And so a lot of might be occurring in the throat as your body is finding and releasing the truth to yourself. So we're watching this in our world as well, this occurring in our own internal system, the truth coming out from ourselves, from our heart, from our memory, from our history, and then the truth coming out in society. So in New Zealand, in the last couple of days, there's been some challenging and horrific information, or some challenging and horrific actions in relation to some information. So some information was released that was to do with data and statistics in connection to vaccines and impact on life and death rates, and then that was released and exposed, and that has moved into those people being called whistleblowers and being arrested and appearing in court. And to me, I want to say to you that we're going to see a lot of this, and to just go to, so you can go to outrage and you can go to rage, and then just ask if that serves you. And I would invite you to go to the place that is asking yourself, so how could this impact awakening? How could this impact ascension? How could this impact on the truth being shown? And I want to tell you that what I've been shown about that is that, so there's this release of this truth that is very confrontational. And so over here it's released, and so people can hear it, read it, receive it. And then over here, there's been this denial of it being true. There's been this is what's happened, and then there's been this, that is misinformation, and then there's been this action where those beings have been arrested and charged. And so how I am showing this from Gaia is that the release of the information comes into the collective to witness, to observe, and to maybe refute and maybe deny, and then they are supported by over here, this being called misinformation. But in fact, what's happened is they have received the information. And so whilst they might deny it, but they have received it. So it's like softening the blow for the receipt of this information, as the truth about our world and these events and our history is, this is how I've been shown that it would happen in this time. So another way of viewing it is, if you imagine, it showed up to me a bit like Meccano, but so imagine big pieces of wood that are bolted together to create a structure, and there's only one bolt and nut between each joint, and so it moves. And imagine that the people are moving it, and then it's being moved back and it's being pushed back and forth, and so it loses its structure, it becomes weakened until it breaks and collapses. And this is what we are going to be witnessing the experience of in our structures at the moment. So there is that. And I have got notes, and I will get to them, but I feel to just speak about some of these things first. The other thing is that we're in this huge downpour of crystalline energy that is really strong and shows up as really white. And what Gaia has said is that that is for the deepest of purification. So there's probably some notes about that. And the aurora borealis and these pillars of light, to me, they are confirmation of what Gaia said a few years ago, that when we are witnessing those in a more extreme way in places that we don't normally see them, that is an indicator to us that we are in the fifth dimension. And so we are definitely in the exploration of the fifth dimension. We are definitely in the early experience and exploration of the fifth dimension. And so light workers will be leading the way. It's like laying in the lines. It's like embedding the codes through what's going on for you. So that can relate to what's happening in the spine. And then this higher heart throat, that really links to this inner truth and clarity. And so that is having a massive impact on the masculine in our world, in their response to things, in the way in which they're dealing with things, in the way that they are turning up and expressing. And I had a really good example of that today, and it's already gone out of my memory. There was something that happened today, and I thought, oh wow, that was really impressive, the way that guy handled that, when I don't know that he would have handled it in that way before. I can't think who that was. So we're in this revealing of the truth, this greater clarity, this higher vibratory rate and frequency. And then we're in this, well, where I went to school, we did this skipping game called Double Dutch. And so this was at a little country primary school. Now, Double Dutch, if you don't know, you have a person at each end of a big rope, and then as many people as can do it go into the middle. So it's not a single rope. It's if I'm holding this end, I've got a rope in this hand and a rope in this hand, and someone at the other end is the same, and it's this. And so and then it's this. So it's this. So this is, you're skipping over two ropes at the same time while you're in the middle. It takes a bit of coordination, but that's what I was showing as this analogy for what the timelines are doing at the moment. It's like double Dutch skipping. Now that is happening, and at the same time, if you imagine that you've got those two ropes on the ground and you are moving them side to side, so they're kind of snaking horizontally and snaking up and down. And so this is what I was showing is happening to the timelines. So I know that's all this conglomeration of information and ideas, and hopefully you can kind of catch up with it. And then the other aspect is, everything is crashing in, and then there's this, if you like, what you've been doing is it might, what's the word I'm looking for? Explain. It may explain to you some of your experiences of late, because it's like the entirety of the Lightworker Collective is part of this, this rope. So if you imagine that rope is like diving down into the second dimension. So it is that we've been doing that. That's what I've been showing. It's like we're diving down into the second dimension, so that we can lift it up and scoop it up. And what we are doing is we are elevating what you could call the average light quotient, the average experience of awakening, the average frequency of humanity. So we're raising the mean or the average. They are the same, but different countries might use different terminology for that, but that's what we've been doing, which is why there's been a lot of experience, I believe, for light workers just feeling that they're in the doldrums, in the in the dust, and then they're in the bliss. And so that's one aspect. Another aspect is that God has shown me that we're each doing these 3-day rhythms. And so if you think about that in terms of this graph going up and down, and so it might be the dipping down, the cleaning out, the lifting up, the clearing, purifying, and then the integration, and then again. And so we're each doing that, not, it won't be that you're the only person doing that 3-day rhythm, but we're all doing different 3-day rhythms. So we're really working as this, I want to say, this gorgeous team of beings to clear out. And it's this deep, like deeper than we ever have done before, this deep purification. And so we're doing that for the planet, and we're doing that within ourselves. So there's that aspect. And then there's the aspect of what's been going on for the divine masculine. So for many of you, eyes, thank you. Eyes, I don't know the answer about the eyes, but I do know that eyes are being affected, that a lot of people are experiencing this blurry vision. I do need to check up with that, but I would imagine that it links in, I want to say, to the brain stem and to the occipital bone as this upgrading of vision, because our eyes are having, our physical eyes are having an upgrade as well. And so if you're concerned about it, go and get them checked. But I feel it'll be a short-term measure. All right. So yes, we're in huge heart expansion. We're in this, there's so many things going on. So we're in this connection between the heart, the higher heart, and the throat. We're in this connection as though the masculine have been in the lower 3 chakras, the feminine have been in the higher 3 chakras, and now we're meeting in the heart. And so there's that. So I would say that many of you have had an experience in November of having some kind of communication connection with your divine masculine, and whether it, whatever what happened might be a little bit irrelevant. The fact that it happened is what holds the potency of it, because there's a lot of energetics going on. I've had some personal experiences that I want to tread carefully with here, but I had this experience, and I wonder whether so I can share this experience. But I had this. I went out for lunch with a whole lot of women who I do an exercise class with, and I've only kind of just joined that class because my personal trainer runs it, and so she said, "Why don't you come along?" So I've been doing that, and they had a Christmas lunch thing. Anyway, I put a bit of makeup on, put a dress on, and off I went. But I had this really lovely experience, which isn't, I'm telling you this, and it might sound egoic, but it doesn't come from that place. It comes from the lesson of it. So I got out of the car, I was walking to this cafe, and this woman stepped out of this shop in front of me, who I didn't know. She stepped out in front of me and she said, "You look really beautiful." And I said, "Thank you so much." And then she just stepped back into the store. She was purchasing something in there. And then I walked into the cafe and I got all these compliments about how I looked and the light that I had and blah, blah, blah. And then I left and I went to the pharmacy to pick something up. And somebody in the pharmacy said, "You look beautiful, and that's a beautiful dress." And I got home and I thought, I need to honor myself and own that a bit more. So it was that kind of, yeah, owning myself, owning my light, owning who I am. And then I had this experience where I went walking with a friend yesterday, and I was talking to her about it, and I said, so I've just kind of shifted my perception of myself. And so I am now saying, well, any man who is with me, he's lucky. I just, it's like these little tiny shifts of perception. And I feel like I'm just, I don't know, like I was maybe at 98% ready or less, but I feel like I'm 100% ready now. And I'm like, you, my divine masculine, you need to show up in a slightly higher level. That's what I require. And it's come through that experience and then me owning it. So you may have an experience that is not the same as that, but that links into you owning more of who you are. And that's why I'm sharing that. So there's that kind of thing. And Carolyn's saying you're receiving, which is the divine feminine. Of course. Thank you. Yes. This is the divine feminine energy. And it's like as we sink into it more, then we will receive more. And, many of us have worked in our divine masculine to make things, to get things into place and to build things from that aspect. And we all have that aspect in us. And so, we're now just in the play with it, if you like, and in the balancing of it, which reminds me, if that's some work you'd like to do, then I am offering a space of a call that we will do for 10 weeks from the middle of January. And it's all about that. It's all about holding space for the balancing of the exploration of the energies of the masculine and the feminine. So that can be internal or in partnership, and it can be for the feminine and the masculine. And it's going to be, I want to say it's a sacred space that's held for collective conversations about what is going on, because more and more now we are having similar experiences. So, what's coming up to be attended to and what's coming in to be honoured and revered. And then, we'll be coming into these partnerships as well. And so that will be another, aspect of exploration. So have a look. And I'll put a link into that under here. All right, so let me just look here at what's in here, and then I will get to my notes. Oh, there's lots of info in here. So if I haven't said hello, then do receive this beautiful hello and gratitude for being present on the earth and in my life and on this call. So I think I have said hello to lots of people. Hello, Andrea, and hello, Jules. Ciela went for acupuncture and got body realignment. Very unobtrusive. Needles only in for a moment in Karaka. Okay, so I want to tell you that we are in this physical reset. And the reason that we're in this physical reset is because we are being recalibrated to a higher frequency. And also there's this, I can't tell you the absolute refinement level, but we are so in this absorption, integration, and embodiment of the crystalline. That's why we're seeing all of this all of these auroras. That's why we're seeing, because that's the crystalline and the temperature having an intersection refracting the light. But that is what Guy was saying, as we become into the fifth dimension, which is, or this fifth dimensional experience, which is our coming into more crystalline, what's the word? Content. Our makeup, our composition is becoming more crystalline. That we would see this, and so there's this kind of match up, if you like. And so it's all part of the refraction of light, and they are everywhere. They are spectacular. There are people taking the most magnificent photographs. So this is our bodies coming into this higher reset. And so I know that some people are going through lots of pain. I can tell you that I did, like, this is not a hierarchy. I think we just do things at different times in different places. And I have certainly been through physical pain in my awakening, but right now I don't seem to be. And I think that was my reset. It was like just totally whacked out of balance and then brought back into alignment. A very interesting thing. And also, I must have been looked after, because how I didn't break a bone, I do not know. And yeah, we're in very topsy-turvy times. So it's like, you think about all those skipping ropes moving everywhere in every direction. And so it's very hard to stay settled as well. It's like when you are on a boat and the sea is choppy, you have to hold on, you have to bend your knees, you have to move with the waves so that your body isn't slammed by when the hull of the boat might hit the water again as it's up and down. All of these experiences, there's this whole notion as well that keeps showing up about, each of us being the middle of the asterisks and everything coming in. So we've got things crashing in terms of energy. We've got things breaking out from underneath us in terms of this dissolution of structure. And we're having that in our cells and in our body and in our world. And then, this upgrade. So the spine, the fluid, the crystal, the psychic upgrades, the brain, the throat, all of it. But this, back to this sort of merging of the masculine and feminine. So it's always kind of showing up to me as we meet in the middle, right? So the divine feminine aspect is in the higher, let's just really talk about these sort of physical chakras, if you like, the higher three primarily, and the masculine and the lower three primarily. And here's the fourth out of the seven. It's the middle. And so we are in this expansion of the heart. It links to the higher heart as well, which is about soul mission and purpose. A lot of divine feminines will be exploring that as well. What is my divine purpose and mission? You might get that coming up in Dreamtime. Dreamtime's another aspect. It's like this cosmic dreaming, this quantum dreaming, and it's a streaming dreaming. So it's very much like the lucid dreaming, I want to say, of old. I want to say lucid dreaming is the old way of dreaming, and now we're in cosmic quantum dreaming. And it's this pulling the pieces together to make sense of the whole of the new. But there's it's like crashing and bashing and smashing the old to come into the new, which sits in here, you as the center of the asterisk, if you like, as the 0 point. This calibration, Larissa said that happened to her yesterday. She felt so many incredible, impossible movements of her body, even on her face, impossible to be made by me. Wow. Yeah, we are in unprecedented times. We are in this time that is unheralded. It's never ever happened that our physical bodies have gone through this transmigration. That's really what we are doing. Thank you, Stacey. And Larissa's saying she released her pain body. I want to say that I feel we're in very strong speak things into manifestation energy. And so I have got a few bits that I've written about that. Tina's getting that with the words and ringing in the ears and dizziness. Yeah, I guess dizziness would come with that, right? Because our ears are our equilibrium aspect in our head. Lauren's having that as well. I want to tell you that Lauren said the most incredible, gave me the most incredible piece of wisdom. So I said how I'd had this experience with my divine masculine, and that I'd recognized, oh no, no, I don't. That's not what I want. That has to come differently. And I was speaking that into existence, and I was having a conversation with her, and she said, "So this is." I just found this profound, and hopefully, or maybe I don't understand it all as much as I thought, but this is what she said. She said, "Well, now that you've said no, it gives him permission to say no." And that made a lot of sense to me. And so this, I feel, so, I've had this physical reset, I've had this experience that's enabled that the refinement of that. And so now I'm calling in my highest divine alignment, be that the one that I believe is my divine counterpart or higher. Yeah, so you don't have to do that. I'm just sharing the bit I can share anyway. But yeah, that was, to me, that was profound, because I've never really thought of the mirror exercise or the mirroring experience in that way. Stacey just got out of meditation, felt like heart and brain were connecting about an hour ago, expansion of heart and pressure on my forehead. Okay, so I want to say that is likely to do with the psychic vision upgrade as well. Carolyn's saying heavy energy last few days, but a lot better today. Just did a heart upgrade with Rose Pink Dragon connecting to the higher cosmic heart. Beautiful. That's beautiful. And what Grandmother Anna says to me is the higher cosmic heart, or the higher cosmic love color, if anybody's interested, is lilac. It's this beautiful, soft lilac color. Craig's saying brain has been like that for a few years now. Words and past time frames are not a thing for me anymore. Yeah, and I think that that's exactly it, Craig. That statement is I want to call it truism, because as we move into working in present moment, we don't need to do those things. The challenge for me is I like to remember people's names, and names to me, having this teaching background, it's always been important to me to be able to know people's names, to remember people's names, to pronounce them correctly. And yet it is that we have been programmed in our world, we have been tested and examined right throughout our education system. The value has been placed on memory, on regurgitating facts, and it's not relevant in our new way of being, and we're now deprogramming from that. And so I believe that in the deprogramming, we may lose things that come back in another way. But yeah, exactly. And I remember having a conversation with my son when I was right in the midst of that, and he said, "Mum, you are so annoying." You are so annoying. And I said, "Look, I know that I am. It's just a phase that I'm going through. So you'll just have to put up with it." But because I was there in this sort of trying to find the word, upper body shaking, big heart, higher heart expansion. Oh yeah. Well, if you think about it, we've got a lot of vibratory change coming in, and so that can come in through light, through sound, and through frequency that creates vibration. Do I wait for the shift that's coming or have surgery? I would say to you, Denise, well, let's hold space, everybody, for Denise for a moment. And I just invite you, Denise, to just raise your eyes to the ceiling and close your lids. Take a breath. And ask your body, does it serve me to do that? Does it serve me? Does it serve my highest to go through with that biopsy? And take a breath. And there's all sorts of body testing you can do, but I just invite you to feel. So if I said to you, the answer is yes, notice what happens in your body. I'm feeling into your body as well. Now take a breath and let that go. And now say to your body that the answer is no, and take a breath and feel into your body. So the answer is no, not to go ahead with the biopsy. And just note what brought ease and what brought contraction. You know, I feel that we are so close to the release of med beds. I feel we're so close to whatever we're going to call this. So it's like it's like the drop of dye on the blotting paper that's wet. You know, we're that close. We're that close to this spread of light, this light that shifts everything. Highlights, what a blast. Full body vibrations, especially the crown and eyes. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, actually, I noticed today and yesterday a lot of vibration in my crown. Sally's saying she's had 4 years of it. Yeah. Somebody said something to me yesterday, and I said, yeah, well, you know, we're undoing 2,000 years of intrusion. And so, yeah, I think for some of us, some aspects of what we're going through take a bit longer. Dr. John Campbell releases daily stats on that. Oh, tell us what that refers to, Tina. Psychic upgrades. Yes, aloha, sweet CC. You're a multitasker from way back, Carolyn. I know, imagine the brain gym that we did from doing that double Dutch skipping. Oh, good. Yeah, cool. Ciela did it with her kids at school. She's a teacher. Omnipresence and time travel on Gaia and planets. Ah, wow. Interesting. Yeah. I think that's going to be a common occurrence for a lot of us. Eyes are in with clairvoyance. Wonderful. Yeah, lots. Yeah, I know. So these glasses that I wear, they are only +1s, and they make the difference. They make the difference for me being able to read my notes in here, and the difference for me being able to read, you know, like a print on things. It's really, really interesting. And just +1s, it goes from blurry to that, and just a +1. It doesn't make logical sense to me. Hi, Golden. Oh yeah, Craig's had weird eyes for a few months now too. Yes, I really feel it's just this short-term, temporary shift and transition we're going through. Speaking truth more and more, but sometimes it drains my energy, especially when dealing with government agents and workers. Yes, it would. And so just be mindful that you're not allowing your energy to be drained and stolen by others. So it's a good thing to speak to yourself and to invite your higher self to be continually regenerating your energy. Ask the ascended masters to be filling you up with energy, so you've got this endless and infinite supply of energy and sustenance and nurturing. Right, where are we here? Well, yes. So Lauren's saying us Librans often care for others more than we do ourselves. And yep, that's true. And I think that's the training for the feminine as well. You know, we are girls are trained to be nurturers. There's a lot of research around that shows that, and that I mean, this is older research. I think that a lot of us have made some of those changes with our own children, but the old research showed that girls, and so it still exists for sure, girls were trained to be nurturers and boys were trained to be nurtured. Oh, thank you, Stacey. Yes, that's good, Donna Jean. To Denise, what does your intuition tell you? As a nurse, I'm inclined to tell you to have a biopsy ASAP. What feels right to you? So that would be another thing, is that you could tune into both aspects of that as well, Denise. And then you can make a decision from that. I when I felt your body, I felt a contrast in both of those. But you will have tuned into that. And yeah, there's a spectrum of debate on it all. Dawn saying blurry vision for a few months too, and seeing things peripherally. Ah, yeah. So in our physiology, the feminine have eyes that have more cones than rods, and the cones are what give us greater peripheral vision and a greater propensity or ability to perceive color. So it's quite a massive difference between what the eyes of the feminine can perceive and what the eyes of the masculine can perceive in terms of color. The masculine, they have incredible night vision and long distance vision. That's why they are much more comfortable driving at night than most women. So they have that. They have great night vision and long distance vision, and so that's because they have more rods than cones in their eyes. Okay. Yeah. So I think you have to go with your own intuition, Denise. When you felt into your body, did you feel did you feel the contrast that I felt in your body? I don't know what an MA is. Oh, is that a mastectomy? Is that what you mean? Anyway, I definitely felt a contrast in your body. Yeah, and we're all sending you huge love. So one of my sisters is dealing with this is what the medical profession has said to her, and she has had an internal strong response to, well, I want to look at other alternatives, and so that's been one of the things that I've been away. You know, I'm being her support person. So bright on fire, cheeks sagged for a day, normalized in 2 days. On the third day, cheeks looking plump like a preteen. Woohoo! Go you! Yeah, well, there's there's merit to be had in programming that. Denise saying your glasses don't work for me lately either. Yeah, well, you will not be alone in that. I think this is a very common experience at the moment. Laura, so we've got 2 nurses on here and they have different opinions, which is perfect, isn't it? Because this is us, this is life, this is our world, and we can accept and allow that there are differences of opinions and strategies, and that it's about us attuning to what feels right for us, because we all have our own individual experiences and histories and patterns as well. And this whole, the familial, the genealogical, all of those patterns, we're clearing those patterns. Light workers are clearing those patterns as well, moving them out of the structure of our DNA that has come through the lineages and through the generational impacts on physiology and physical health. And we're about to sort of burst into new ways of perception with that. So Lauren's saying wait until the end of January and then see. Yeah, so my perception of our change is that we're in massive change now, and that it will I put together a newsletter today, and I headed it up something around, did you take a breath and November disappeared? Because that's how it felt. One long breath and November gone. And so we really are in our very, very new way of being, new frequency, new modalities. Okay. Well, go with that. You can always change your mind, Denise. But if that's what feels right now, then go with that. So I want to tell you that when I talk to people about making decisions, I have all of these strategies that I've made up over time. And so this is one of them. If it's an I don't know, it's a no or a not now. So if you felt that it wasn't a yes, then, or you needed to ask because you're in no man's land with it, or in the I don't know or I'm not sure, that means to me, that means it's a no or a not now. And it's if you think about the simplest perception of this is when you go and you try on a piece of clothing in a store and you're with a friend. And if you put something on and it just looks crash hot on you, you don't need to ask them. You just whip it off and go and buy it. But if you're not sure, you ask the opinion of another. So I would say that's a not. That's a no, because it's an I don't know. And that's what I've noticed. And that applies to a lot of decisions. If it's an I don't know, it's a no or a not now. G-Start, I don't know who G-Start is, but welcome. Sound frequencies for destroying cancer cells, Dawn is saying. I think it's 111 hertz. Ciela is saying this could just be an experience about you becoming stronger within you. That's true. So these are all, interesting and useful pieces of information. And yeah, I think if you ask your innate, your internal, your sacred self, you'll get an answer. That's what you need and deserve, Denise. All right, so here are my notes, and we're already an hour in. I can't believe it. But this is from the 25th. The energy of the 25th. It was a 777 day if you're into numerology. And I tell you, it streamed with the sense of urgency and another level of quickening. Honestly, it just makes me laugh. Makes me laugh that every day it feels that it goes deeper and it goes faster and it's more purifying. And it's the spiraling up. It's like, shh. It's that quick. And I want to tell you that whoosh, that is the word that comes with the divine masculine at the moment. They are going to come in with a whoosh. There's the sense on that day, there was the sense of move it. Just move it, everybody. You've got things to do and places to go and people to see, and just attune to that. There's the sense of hurry up and get all those blocks in place so they can be knocked down. It's like that. It's like build up, get your Lego, get your little wooden blocks up, build it all up, and so you can look at it and then just go, no. And next, it's that. It's like that sits there. No, next. So we're just clearing out all that doesn't serve us. It's there's build the new, smash the old, smash the old. That was the little mantra that came. And then dream it up and write it down and speak it into existence. So that's what I have been saying to my clients. It's like, here is your mouth speaking what you wish, want, desire to have, be, and you just speak it in here, right in this space, in this now moment. And it's not down there, it's here, it's right now. We're in such quick manifestations. Yeah, I want to say I wrote in here about this energy, the energies coming up to do with the connections between twins, where there's like querying about betrayal and querying about decisions that are made, and that there's a lot of movement from the old lives coming in to be attended to. This energy that's connecting between counterparts, where it might be raising those kinds of issues. And just remember to surrender that, to know that if you're in a divine counterpart connection, it's a spiritual connection. And I want to tell you that this is this resonance between higher selves, and that there's this very strong notion that the divine masculine in the masculine body, that they have to listen to me, they have to rise up. They have to arise to their fifth dimensional experience, and that they're on the edges of that, and that really the divine feminine is awaiting that, I want to say, and not waiting as in blah, 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 but in the knowing that that's where the match comes. And so the feminine is like holding self, holding this alignment, this recognition of who you are and what you require and desire, and you're calling it in here now, and you know that it is coming in the match, be it one you know or be it another, but you can call it in for the higher. And you can sit in that knowing that if you know who your divine counterpart is, there's I would say a 97, 98% chance that it will be the one that you know. And you call it in for the higher. You invite them to come into their higher, their fifth dimensional expression. And I wrote in here about working with consciously feeling the feelings that come, no matter what, whether it's in your divine counterpart connection or just in life. Just feel the feelings and note them and allow them to move and watch them go. Don't drop into the emotions of it, be in the sensory experience of it. And the more that you surrender all of that, the more you come into your higher alignment, and just don't let all these sort of little intrusions and interruptions define you. Begin to claim yourself in the higher as the goddess, as the priestess, as the priest, as the god, as the sacred, incredible being that came here to assist the world to ascend, to assist humanity to lift itself out of the darkness, to rescue Gaia, to rescue the planet, to rescue humanity. That's what most of us who are here came for. Sorry, it's so funny. I've got this new book and I've left all these pages out. It's just, I have. I don't know. Oh, there you go. It's a time, it's a time jump. Okay, so we have had the experience of the Gemini full moon, which was the twin full moon. So if you're on this journey, maybe you use that. So I'll just give you a couple of decrees. I'm grateful for the emotions of excitement and joy being in my life every day. I'm grateful and excited about my divine partner and my beloved being here in relationship with me in and from and on the highest timeline. This unconditional loving connection wrapped in truth and authenticity. So clarity, truth, and authenticity are key words that we have been in that last week of November. A friend of mine often uses this saying, does it get any better than this? It's an invitation for things to always be getting better. And I wrote, I spend a lot of moments in bliss. And I'm curious as to how they show up in each moment to moment. And I am so good at being present in each moment and soaking in all of the bliss. What came through on the 27th of November were a truly gorgeous light-filled day, that all is well in your world. The light is transforming, crystallizing, clearing. Choices are being made on many levels of multi-dimensionality, consciousness, and faith. So it was quite brief and profound. And another little affirmation, I am a multi-dimensional being, living and evolving on Gaia Earth as ground crew Gaia. All of my PEMS, I use that as an acronym, PEMS, PEMS, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. All of my physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual needs are taken care of and met. And just to believe that in each day. And then on the 28th, big flows of heart energy coming in. The heart space, it was soft and swirling and beautiful. This has been stirring up the masculine, I want to say. They've been very swirly, these energies, and they've been stirring up their emotions in a way, probably making them feel quite unsettled, on a wobble, so they have to make decisions. Oh, and this, I wrote this, and this is my own statement, and you are so welcome to take it and use it. I think it's rather beautiful. I am that I am, and that I am ever evolving and ever changing in the infinite expression of the divine. And yeah, so, I've been in this experience, and so this is another thing I wrote, that on this day, great clarity comes for me in my life and with my beloved, and that I am given clear signs about what is and what isn't. And then I noted for the divine masculine that there was this extreme pressurization, that I wanted to. I wrote these as questions. Is the pressurization becoming extreme? Is the stress and tension too much? The seal is about to be broken. The explosion is becoming external. So the masculine have been in huge kind of explosion, implosion on the internal. Breathe, ground, place your hands on your heart. Bring your focus to that place and breathe behind your hands. Let the mind soften and keep returning your focus to your heart space. So I should write some of these up. I am behind. I've just needed to take that time and space. On the 30th, I was still in massive integration. It really shifted for me. In the first few days of December, it was like, I'm calling in the highest divine alignment, and I was calling in some of the ways in which I needed the new to show up and what I didn't want from the old. So I was saying no to some of the old and calling in some of the new. There's been a lot of information coming up around Atlantis if you had an Atlantean lifetime. So there's a lot I want to say of maybe revisiting those experiences and closing off of those timelines. So I have a profound kind of experience with Atlantis, or several of them, and it's I don't know, it kind of feels too big to share, but it's likely that it's just that I'm still in process with it. But this was all been part of my reset, my integration, is one of the experiences that I had in Atlantis where I was totally destroyed. Yeah, and then Lottie reminded me that I had said that the DMs they may show up, but not in their higher form or in their highest expression. So there you go. Pass that back, and thank you, Lottie, for reminding me of that. So, yeah, so I said this into the ethers. I call in the highest, best, most loving and aligned version of you, my beloved, my divine masculine, the highest aligned partner and partnership. Some of the divine masculine that I've attuned to over the past little while. One of them was really interesting. I saw him. He was standing alone in the middle of this vast continent where he lives. He lives in the States, and it was really like a beam me up, Scotty moment. That was his experience. He was as though he was standing alone in the middle of the US, and his hands were down by his sides, and his face was looking upwards, and the whole experience of it came through to me as he was ready to be teleported. He was ready to be teleported out of the States and off to where he needs to be with his divine feminine. And it was really the language that came was beam me up, Scotty. And that it may be that this is a possibility in our very near future, I guess. I'm totally convinced that we will have that aspect of technology at some point. And then when we come into the December energies. So I might just say that, as we move into December, we're in this huge configuration of a whole lot of the triangulation, the trinities, the trinity codes that will come in a whole myriad of ways, and that it's different. We're in the new. So we were in this kind of up-leveling illumination configuration in November, finishing off the readiness for moving through the gateways, the readiness for empowerment, the readiness for ascension. And then we're in this December month, I believe we're coming into the triangulation, which we spoke about earlier in the year. We've done that already, but this is to a higher level. And I want to say that it's to do with your role as leadership in the world. I want to tell you that it's my total belief that we are in this, preparation for the tipping, that I know I've been saying that we're, close to there, but it just keeps on getting closer. And we know that we have to be in this placement where there's enough of the energetics for us to shift over. And so this is what we have been doing, the removal of the evil, the removal of the intrusions that enables the average, the streaming of consciousness, the average of that to be lifted up. And then we're coming into this sort of new embodiment of the Trinity codes, and you can see that in a whole lot of different ways, and that's where we're at. And I believe we're in our new frequencies, we're in our new world. This is what this month is all about. And when that tipping point comes, well, it could be any time, but I feel that we're now in this December. January is monumental. So I want to say to you that right now, it's like, what would I say? It's like, what if you knew that only good, amazing, and great things are here for you? That there is nothing here that is to you, at you, again you. That everything that is happening is for purpose, and that maybe that's your query, your curiosity. Well, I wonder what this is about. What do I take from this? What is my learning? What comes next for me? And just be in the general inquiry and curiosity of that, because we are in this extraordinary time of this tipping point. The sun keeps building, the geomagnetic storms keep impacting the electromagnetics, if you like, and that is impacting on our body. The electrics is impacting. That's a part of the reason that we're having this sort of frequency and vibration as well. We're feeling more of that electrical energy in our body and our brain. It's quite incredible, and we are, we're talking about an evolution, and we're on the edges of this expansion of our planetary existence, and it is about taking the majority through. And we know that lots of people are leaving, and that on one level there's been contracting for that. And I'm really looking forward to meeting more of you in the flesh. It's funny because it's almost as though when we move into the new, it might be a bit like that. It might, I don't know. It's interesting though that I want to say that. It might be that we're in the smaller domain or something. We shall see, but it is exciting. And don't get caught in the doom and gloom. There's still a fair amount of that going on. Just keep looking for, what's the lesson, what's the learning. There's a lot of push pull that's coming to not for our benefit, but for awakening those who are still in their sleepy observation of their world with that feeling of being a victim in there. So lots of love to you all. Thank you for being here. And yeah, I will be back on more regularly again, I'm sure. And sending you lots of love. Big hugs. Jen, hi, and hi, Sandy. And castor oil. Yeah. A friend and I, we've been having a look at the whole castor oil thing. So castor oil. Now, who's written up? Look up the benefits of castor oil. So there's a lot. There's a lot of benefits of that, and putting a few drops in your belly button before you go to sleep. And I read some things about castor oil for the eyes, so you might want to look up a little bit of info about that. But yeah, this is part of the truth revealing, is that our so in New Zealand we've had all of that we had this bill called the therapeutics bill, which had things in it which really they just made me laugh. Thou shalt not grow lavender, thou shalt not grow sunflowers, thou shalt not grow rosemary. There were all of these thou shalt nots about medicinal plants, and that it was going to be illicit to grow them in our gardens. And so what's happened, well, there's a whole lot of things that have happened which are really interesting. Actually, I might just mention them before we go. So anyway, the therapeutics bill had a whole lot of things in that was basically saying that natural medicines and healing modalities from the garden were going to be made illegal. And so that's taken the government here has been trying to do that for quite some time. So it's very interesting to me, because not just this recent government, but in the past governments as well. And now this has been revoked. So that entire bill that had a whole host of things that were going to be, not allowed, has now been thrown out. And then we have this. So we have our government is reformed in this, brand new to New Zealand anyway. So we have a prime minister from one party, and we have two deputy prime ministers from two other parties. They are splitting the term in two. So one is going to be deputy prime minister for 18 months, and then the other for the second 18 months. So that to me is quite groundbreaking, like irrespective of how it works, this more representation, that's interesting. That to me is some movement towards the new. And then this revocation of these other bills and acts that have been put through, and in a way it would seem that the biggest movement that's come is the reversal or revoking of acts and bills that have been put through Parliament here in the past 6 years. So I think that we may or may not see that this works, but it's bringing in new ideas. And this is where we're really in that. Let's be exposed to new ways of thinking, and let's examine them in this way, because we're really moving into the new. Yes, that's right, Denise. So very interesting. Yeah, exactly, Tina. You are a rebel. You're a rebel. So am I. And that's that. How it could have possibly been enforced, I do not know. But this to me, this is the the way it works. You know, you push the pendulum that way and people push it back that way, and it brings out new information. It enables people to have discussion. It brings out other truth, and it shifts. And so this is us. We're moving, we're shifting, we're growing, we're claiming, we're coming into our empowerment, our own sovereignty, where we, you know, feel that we can make our own choices about those things. And so for me, my view of it, right or wrong, is that, you know, we're going from the sublime to the ridiculous. And so the ridiculous can evoke emotional responses. The ridiculous can evoke this ability for people to go, hold on a moment. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that in our world. Anyway, I've been here long enough, and no doubt you're all tired of being here as well. And yeah, we are, Denise. Many finally waking up. Yeah. And, you know, that is the other thing, is that there's no one way for people to wake up. So, you know, that's why we're seeing a whole lot of different things. There's just, I might do a little video on that, but there's just a whole host of ways that people will be awakened. And it is all coming to the surface. That's right, Tina. All right, my sweets. Thank you so, so much. Much love to all of you. And I will catch you again soon. Take care.